Hi lovelies, hi there and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, karibu sana. If you're a returning subscriber, karibu. And if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do. Alright, today's video will be a fun one. I recently stumbled on this reality show called The Ultimatum. South Africa, let me be specific. Ultimatum South Africa, after I saw it trending online on TikTok and on various other platforms, and I was like, you know what, let me check it out. And let me just say this, I was not disappointed, not one bit. I started watching it, when was it? 2 days ago. I literally slept at 1 p.m. watching it 2 days ago. And then I finished watching it yesterday. So, Yani, it's just a really nice reality TV show. It has so many lessons to learn. It has so many punchlines. It's just, and I thought, you know what, let me hop on and discuss possibly one of my favorite characters that I've seen on reality TV. I know she's not everybody's favorite. Actually, she has this what do you call it? It's like people have a love-hate relationship with her for some reason. I kind of get it. Sort of get it. Then again, I don't. But anywho, and the personality is none other than Kanya. Kanya, the villain of the show. She's villain number one, obviously. Villain number two is Nala. Villain number one is Kanya, and she is giving everything that a villain is supposed to give. She is giving range. She is giving punchlines. She makes you want to go into the television and, shake it. She makes you laugh. One moment you're angry, the next moment you're like, she did not just say this. Yani, this chick, she just has a lot of range, and as she's having a lot of range in her personality, I also got to, it almost as if she elicits this range of emotions also in you. So I really had a fun time watching her. I know, being the villain of the show, she's actually also been labeled as being a bully. Apparently, she was a bully. Let me not even say she was labeled as a bully. Apparently, she was a bully growing up, and the people that she bullied have come out of the woodworks, talking about how she bullied them in primary school, how she bullied them in high school. So, to be honest, I was not surprised by that, considering how she came off a bit of a mean girl on the show. That aside, with all the craziness, with all the toxicity, because yes, clearly she's very toxic. Even with all of that, I don't know. There's just something about her that just draws you into her. She's one of those personalities, you see her on screen and she just grips you because you do not know what she's going to say next. You do not know how she's going to react. You do not know the punchline. Yani, she was a good pick for this show, I must say. She was a very good pick on this show. She kind of reminds me of Kanya on Young, Famous and African. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit as I analyze her character on this show. So yes, she's the villain of the show. Yes, a lot has been said about her. Yes, she's toxic. Yes, she has anger issues. Yes, it has emerged that she was a bully growing up. Yes, I know all that. That said, I think there's a lot to be learned from her, both positive and negative. And today, specifically, seeing that she's my favorite character on the show, I choose to pick the good for today. Choose to pick the lessons, the positive lessons that I've learned from her. I'll pick another day and analyze the negatives, but for today, I am choosing to pick the positives that I have learned from her, and I think there's a lot of good that you can learn from her. So the very first thing that I've learned from her is range. I think as women, particularly as feminine women, we are normally put in a box, that a lady should be this, a lady should be proper, a lady should say her please, yeses, and her thank yous, a lady should have etiquette, a lady should have this, a lady should have the other. But if there's something I have learned about being a woman, and not just any type of woman, but a feminine woman, is that a lady has range. A lady is, spicy. A lady has different flavors. And if there's something that Kanya has shown on the show, is she has shown range, she has shown spice, and she has shown flavor. The thing with her is, one moment she's happy. Yes, I know, and I do not mean to use this in a derogatory manner. I know it's almost as if she comes off almost somewhat bipolar, but she's not. She's just choosing to show the range in her emotions, okay? And because of that, because of showing, when she's happy, you can clearly see she's happy. When she's sad, you can clearly see that she's sad. When she's angry, you can clearly tell that she's angry. She's kind of like the weather, She's kind of like the weather, the changes that are there. It's very clear when the weather changes. When it's sunny, you can tell. When it's cold, you can tell. When it's raining, you can tell. When there are thunderstorms, you can tell. And that's the thing about being a woman and womanhood and being a feminine woman. You can't allow yourself to be boxed in. You're not just a ray of sunshine all the time. And just because you choose to be proper and just because you choose to be polite does not mean you should not show anger. If anything, you should embrace your anger. To me, if anything, you should embrace your feminine rage. Of course, figure out a way to express it in a constructive way. You shouldn't be shoving people like Kanya did. You shouldn't be insulting people like she did. But definitely show range in your emotion. It should be very clear that you are displeased with something. It should be very clear when you are upset with something. And if there's something that Kanya has been able to exemplify on this show, is she has been able to exemplify instances when she's displeased about something, instances when she's angry about something. And so you get to really see the range, you get to really see the flavor that a woman should have, the sweet side of her, the happy side of her, the sexy side of her, and the angry side of her. And I kind of feel that's what keeps the boyfriend around, yeah, in the sense that he does not even need he does not even need to have to cheat on her, in the sense that with this chick, with this lady, it's like you're having multiple personalities in one woman. She keeps him on his toes, She's not just this boring black and white woman, or always just this sunshiny kind of person. She has range, and that's what I love about her. You get to be on your toes with her. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what you'll get next with her, because one moment she's happy, the next minute she's a tornado. And I actually love that for her. And that's why I feel, other than being the villain of the show, and very well deserved, she's the villain of the show, but other than that, she brought a lot of spice and a lot of range to this show. And to me, that's why she's the best character and personality in this show. Like, her scenes were just out of this world. Yeah. The second thing that I love about Kanya is that she was able to stand on business unashamedly. Remember, she ended up in the trial marriage. She was in the trial married with Isaac, I believe. Yes, Isaac was his name. And when she was in the trial relationship with Isaac, at some point there was this boys' night out. And so Nkateko, the Kanya's boyfriend, there was a boys' night out, and Isaac met with Nkateko, and they had a one-on-one on the side, and Isaac was like, you know what, I think your girl is very high maintenance, she's very materialistic. And so when the trial marriage ended, and so when they went back to the villa, Nkateko was like, you know what, Isaac mentioned that you come off as a gold digger. And Kanya delivered the punchlines of all punchlines. She was like, me, a gold digger? If I was a gold digger, would I have been with you for 1 year? if I was a gold digger, you know? And you could actually see the shock on this man's face. It's like, what? Yes. If she was a gold digger, will she be with him? So she basically put him in his place, like, if I was a gold digger, I will not be with you. Where's the gold? Show me the gold. I'm here because I'm a sucker for love. Well, that sent me from here all the way to, I don't know, Timbuktu. It kind of reminds me of what's her name, Kanya of Young Famous and African, where she was talking about, you know, a man should provide and protect, and she was unashamedly talking about it. And Kanya also believes the same thing, that a man should provide and protect, and if that makes her a gold digger, so be it. But she's not going to take on a label that she's a gold digger, yet the person whom she's with clearly does not have any gold to dig. So I love the fact that she has a comeback for everything. Secondly, you're not going to put her down. If you think you're insulting her, she's going to put you exactly in your place. And I love the fact that she mentioned that when she was in that pairing with the trial marriage with Isaac, and then they went to buy groceries, Isaac basically made her pay 50-50, and she was just like, nope, this is not my type of person. Nope. And even when Nkateko told her, you know, the whole idea of being a gold digger, she was like, no, I have standards. That does not make me a gold digger. I have standards. And you know, the thing with certain men is that they will neg you, they will try to put you down, to make you go down a peg or two, basically trying to make you abandon your standards, make you feel guilty so that you can abandon your standards. But Kanya was not. Nope. She was like, no, these are my standards. I'm not being a gold digger by having standards. If I was a gold digger, I will not be with you because you clearly do not have any gold to dig. And I really loved that for her. You know, the thing about being a woman, and any individual really, we all have our own standards, okay? And particularly when it comes to the dating arena, you're going to encounter people whom do not accept your standards. And that's fantastic. Let them go be with people who share similar values to them. Let them go be with people who share similar standards to them. But you know, the funny thing is, they will never go to the so-called pick-mishas who are very ready to take on whatever and abandon their standards and abandon their values just to be with a man. They want you. You know, that's the funniest thing. You have your standards. Let's say your standard is 1, 2, 3. Their standards are 4, 5, 6. But no, they want you to abandon your 1, 2, 3 standards and embrace their standards, rather than go pair up with a woman who shares their own values and their own standards. But no, they want you to change your standards, abandon your values, and actually embrace their standards. And then when you decide to stand on business like Kanya did, now you're being labeled a gold digger. Now you're being labeled this, that, and the other. Now they're nagging you, hoping to bring you down a peg or two. But what I love about Kanya, whether you love her or hate her, is that she stood on business. Call her what you want to call her, a gold digger, but she stood on business. And I love that for her. And as much as she had her standards, I don't think it's necessary to always communicate your standards verbatim or verbally to somebody. Just, you know, embrace, rather, how can I put it? Embody your standards rather than speak about it. You understand? Just embody it rather than speak about it. Which takes me to the next point. Another thing that I love about Kanya is that conversation they had with Isaac at the kitchen counter, where Isaac was implying to ask her, you know, this whole very nonsensical question of what she brings to the table. And she was like, are you trying to ask me what I bring to the table? And she was like, first and foremost, I do not engage in such conversations. Okay? But since you want an answer, I'll give you the most cliche response and tell you that I am the table. First and foremost, thank God I'm not in this dating field, because good Lord, if any ninja would dare ask me such a thing, Anyhow, but if you find yourself in the unfortunate circumstance to be in the presence of of a human being who calls himself a man, who dares to fix his mouth to ask you such a dumb question about what you bring to the table, first and foremost, that is not a man who deserves your presence. Okay? Secondly, I do not think it's makes sense to even respond to such a question like, no, I'm not going to go down to the gutter with you. No, I'm not, because I do not argue with men. I do not respond to stupidity. Nope. I will never allow a man to trigger me or take me down to the gutter to answer such stupid questions. So that said, I love the fact that she recognized where his trail of thought and his trail of questioning was going to, and again she was able to stand up for herself. Although I don't believe in talking about I am the table, I am this, that, and the other. Personally, I just play dumb or change the question or the line of conversation and, block, delete, and move on. Personally, if I was in such a scenario, but yeah, I love the fact that she was able to stand up for herself even in that instance. And however, I don't believe that you should answer a man when he asks you such a stupid question. Honestly, no, I do not entertain that caliber of men. But anyhow, yeah, another lesson I love about Kanya is that she pedestalizes herself. Yes, I know she comes off a bit hoity-toity, a bit, prim and proper because of calling people hood rats, and, she looks as if she has her nose up in the air and looking down on people. But fact is, she puts herself on a pedestal, which everybody should. Okay, she puts herself on a pedestal. She believes in her beauty. She believes in her worth. She's very self-confident. And that can be very triggering to people who have low self-esteem. Okay? And that's why I was telling you guys, she reminds me a lot of Kanya. Because the same way Kanye on Young, Famous and African, she also pedestalizes herself. She puts herself, she holds herself with very high regard and very high esteem and has very high self-confidence, and she does not care what people think about her. She does not care what people talk about her. At the end of the day, she's happy with herself. Yes, she has bleached her skin, and so what? She does not care what you think about it. She'll deal with her consequences, all right? So I love the same for Kanya, that she pedestalizes herself. She has very high self-esteem and very high self-confidence. I love the fact that, she believes in herself. Yeah, and she does not look for external validation necessarily to make herself feel better. Okay, and yeah, I actually identify a lot with that, in the sense that, I do place myself on a pedestal. I do love a lot about myself. Obviously, I'm human, so there are elements where we would all seek some form of external validation, but to a great extent, my sense of confidence, my sense of validation is very internal, comes from within. And so I love that about her. I love that about her. And I wish more women would actually learn to pedestalize themselves, learn to, appreciate and know their worth, and not just let other people, particularly external forces and external factors, be the ones to make you feel good about yourself, The final lesson that I learned from Kanya is, I love the fact that towards the end of the series, when it was now the time when now the people who are issued with the ultimatum, where they had to now answer to the ultimatum, Nkateko obviously developed, or rather delivered, a blow to Kanya. And this is your lesson. If what you need and what you desire and what you deserve is not being served, be willing to walk away. And that's exactly what Kanya did. Personally, I don't believe in ultimatums, and I'll do a whole video on that. But I love the fact that at the point at which Kateko was like, you know what, I'm giving you this promise ring. It's a promise that I'm going to engage you. And it's suddenly hit Kanya that, you know what, this guy is not engaging me. What he's doing is giving me a promise ring and basically just keeping me waiting. He's basically keeping me on waiting mode again. He's basically keeping me pending. This man is basically, wasting her time. And she could not stand for that. She could not stand for that. And fine, they both have issues, and those issues are deep-rooted, and that does not mean I'm dismissing the fact that there are issues. That said, the fact that she did not get what she wanted from him, she had every right to walk away. Okay? And so Nkateko was like, you know what, I'm going to give you this promise ring as a promise that I want to be with you, as a promise that I want to spend my life with you. I want to see little baby Kanyas walking around. And you see, that definitely hooks us women, because we fall in love with our ears. But Kanya recognized immediately that, you know what, this man is just blabbering. In fact, if you go through the entire series right from the start, you'll realize that Kanya actually calls out Nkateko for just being a Mr. He talks the good game, but he does not deliver. He talks, but that's all he's good for. He does not actually deliver on his promises. And for Kanya, that was the moment where she was like, you know what, your work is to talk, but you're not delivering. Your work is to talk and you're not delivering, because he's the one who brought up marriage. But now again, he's the one who's putting her on pending. And I kind of feel that him being the one bringing up marriage was to hook her in. But then once he baited her with the idea of marriage, he switched up on her. And Kanya noticed that. And that's why she even said, you know what, I've compromised on a lot of things, but I'm not going to compromise on an engagement. And that was like, high five, girl, high five. Stand on business. If what you need is no longer being given to you, if what you need is no longer being served, then stand up from that table and walk away. Stand up from that table and walk away. Okay? And I love the fact that she walked away. And she was like, what is this? What is this thing? What is this thing then? If it's not an engagement ring, what is this thing? Okay, it was a bit demeaning, but what is this thing? Get that thing out of my finger. Take it. And the guy was in shock, like, huh? Yes, take it. So later on, we see Nkateko now following Kanya, and she was like, okay, fine, we can get engaged then. And Chick was like, with the same ring. Things carry energy. That's something you don't forget. When he bought that ring to present to her, the intention behind that ring and the energy behind that ring was that was a promise ring. So he may not have put in as much effort into it. The vibration and the energy put and intentionality put in that ring was wrong. And so for her to call him out and say, again, you're proposing to me with the same ring? Man, no. I totally get it. Because I bet you, if he would have decided to engage her properly, the next ring he would have gotten would have been a bigger ring, a better ring, a more expensive ring. And over and above that, the energy and the intentionality of the engagement ring he would have gotten for her would have been very, very different from the promise ring. So, her choosing to walk away again from that second idea of a ring, of a promise ring, and be like, no, I'm not taking this ring. You cannot just now say that it's going to be an engagement ring. You will not bait me, then switch up on me again. And she reminded us that, you know what, I'm a flower. I'm the prize. We don't chase men or buses. Another bus will always come. Another man will always come. So if he's not willing to engage her, guess what is going to happen? Another man is going to come just the same way another bus comes. And she's not going to devalue herself by chasing after him. And I loved that moment where I was just like, you have made us proud. You have made us proud. You have made us proud. So love her or hate her, I actually think, to be honest, the people who do not like her, other than the fact that obviously, yes, and again, and I admit it, she is toxic, and yes, she's a bully. But you cannot help but admire her for her audacity, You cannot help but admire her for her gumption. You cannot help but admire her for her confidence. You cannot help but admire her for being able to stand up for herself, for what she wants. You cannot just but admire her, you know, for calling people out on their BS. Right or wrong, she calls people out on their BS. Yeah. And you cannot help but admire her for that. And I feel that the women, other than the toxicities, the women who are anti-Kanya, it's triggering to them because they're not able to stand up for themselves like she was able to. You know? For instance, if you look at the lady that she bullied, and again, that does not mean that I advocate for bullying. No, not at all. Caesar. It took Caesar having a confrontation, as painful as it was, to have a confrontation with Kanya for her to actually learn to stand up for herself. It took that instance to be able to stand up for herself. And the Kanyas of this world, and again, I'm not advocating for bullying, but there are people whom once you interact with or once you observe, it's like it will either trigger you, okay? And you can either become a victim out of it, or you can learn to stand up for yourself. And in Caesar's case, she was able to stand up for herself. And again, love her or hate her, there's just something admirable about the fact that Kanya has been able to stand up for herself, to stand up for whatever she believes in, whether you want to call her gold digger or whatever, she will stand on business and she will not flaunt her. Okay? And I really love that for her. So I'm going to do another breakdown character analysis about Kanya, particularly the negative sides, but I chose to look at the positives today. So there's a lot more to learn from Kanya. In another video, I'm going to look at the negatives and try to address some of the negatives, including the bullying, the toxicity, the mean girlness. But today I chose to talk about the positives in terms of the lessons that she has taught us, because I believe there's a lot of positives that has actually come out of watching her personality. Yeah, I believe there's a lot to learn there. So yeah, so that's pretty much it about Kanya. Do let me know what you think about her in the comment section. I'm excited to see what your comments are about, both the good and the bad. It's open, but particularly I want to know the lessons you learned from Kanya, the positive lessons you learned from Kanya. So until next time, keep shining, keep smiling. I'll see you on the next one. Toodles.